Quickly now, we want to update you on a breaking story that we brought you at the top of the hour here in the CNN newsroom. The U.S. soldier accused of opening fire on his fellow troops is now charged with 5 counts of murder and 1 count of aggravated assault. He is identified as Army Sergeant John Russell. The shootings took place yesterday, as you know, at a stress clinic at Camp Liberty in Baghdad. That disturbing and tragic event has a lot of us thinking now about the stress soldiers face and the issue of post-traumatic stress disorder. While we don't know exactly what may have triggered the attack yesterday, we do know that PTSD is real and many troops suffer with it. What triggers it, and how do we support our troops coping with the scars of war? Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, is joining us here on set today, and also with us, Iraq War veteran Patrick Campbell. Patrick, thanks so much for being with us. Off the top here, we want to let everybody know that you did serve in Iraq. In fact, you did spend time at Camp Liberty, and you do suffer from PTSD yourself. First off, I just want to get your reaction to the tragic events of yesterday.
Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the service members that died. These are horrible events, and thankfully these have been rare in the last 7 years. Previous wars, we've seen much more cases of this, and due to the all-volunteer force, this has been very rare. But what this indicates to us is that this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to see if we don't get a handle on this issue.
Very, very true, and I appreciate the perspective very much. I know that you were a combat medic when you were first deployed to Iraq in 2005. Tell us what happened.
Well, while I was there, I mean, just like everyone who's in Iraq and Afghanistan, I saw things that were hard to register and even harder to deal with when I tried to reintegrate to the civilian society. We call it kind of like a psychological Kevlar. The protection you put on over there, it's very helpful when you have to deal in war situations, not so helpful when you get home. And about 3 months after I got back, I started acting out, having nightmare, not being able to sleep. And it took about a year before some of my friends had an intervention with me and got me into counseling.
So what was that intervention like? I mean, it sounds like things must have gotten pretty bad.
Well, I was not the person who I was before I left. I mean, for the most part, my deployment made me a stronger person. But when I got home, I did things that were out of character. And a friend of mine sat me down and said, "You're not the friend I knew before you left. And we're good enough friends that I don't want to cut you off. But if you don't get counseling, I see no other choice."
Wow.
And
wow.
I was very lucky. And thankfully, we've been working hard to help educate friends and family about these type of discussions because they're hard and they're very uncomfortable. So we've created a website called supportyourvet.org, which helps friends and family begin those type of conversations because it wasn't easy for my friend.
Well, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's not been easy for you and their family as well. Let's talk about that culture for a minute, Patrick. I know that there's a very strong culture that exists. It's hard for soldiers to go and, number one, admit they have a problem, and number two, then go and seek treatment. Right.
Well, right now, we have a culture that you will adapt, innovate, and overcome any problem that you have by yourself, and complaining is considered weak. We need to get over that. We need to assume that combat stress injuries are expected. They are normal reactions to extraordinary events, and we need to start treating them when every service member comes home. We believe that every returning service member should have to be seeing a counselor. So it shouldn't take a friend like I had to threaten to not be my friend anymore before I even see a counselor a year after getting home.
Sure, because not everybody has a quite frankly. Patrick, is the military doing enough? Is society doing enough with this issue right now?
No, I mean, the military is making good efforts. With the rising suicide numbers that we've seen in the last couple of years, they're finally awake to the problem. But we need to make sure that every returning service member sees a counselor. And in order to make sure that happens, we need to dramatically increase the number of mental health professionals we have here in the United States, and especially overseas. The number of people in theater in Iraq and Afghanistan has dropped dramatically. It was 1 for every 400 soldiers and our service members, and now it's 1 for every 800. So wow. These type of things are going to keep happening until we get the resources available.
All right, well, we are watching the story very closely here. Patrick Campbell, sure to appreciate your time today, your story, and most importantly, your service to our country. Thank you so very much. I want to bring Dr.